Good morning, everybody. I hope you all are back to your screens now because we are now beginning with our next session by or the first session at day two by Hyderabad chapter about here is why you're not ready to become agile. And we have Kunal Shah with us sharing his experiences around this topic, who is SQA director at Oracle. We have seen that sometimes we find out the reason that we were not ready to become agile for the failure of agile implementation in an organization. So why not we recognize the fact earlier that we are not ready instead of realizing it later? So this seems to be an interesting subject to be discussed about, and looking forward to hear from you, Kunal, on this. So over to you now from here.
Thank you so much. So, hello and a big welcome to this session. Are you ready for agile transformation? Yeah, I mean it's a fact that it's not an easy thing to do, but the thing that you are here on a beautiful Sunday morning says a lot about your learning mindset, and I thank you for joining us today. To set the stage, we are not going to talk about why agile transformations fail. They fail for a lot of reasons. And one of them could be management wants to do it, nobody else is interested in it. But today we are going to focus on why you and me, as individuals, are not ready for an agile transformation and what can we do about it. Okay, so it's going to be very personal, and it's going to be about you and me as individuals and what we can do to get ready rather than why the transformations themselves fail. Okay, so would you like to find out if you are ready or not? Do you want to know if you are ready? I would like to know what you think. Let's use the chat function and type in your name, type in what you think, and also tell me where you are dialing in from, where you are joining us from. And it would be good to know what you think about yourself, if you think you're ready, if you think you're not, and where you are calling from today. Priyank says maybe. Okay. And I know Priyank, you're dialing in from Bangalore. Okay. All right. How about others? Okay. Nupur, not yet. You're calling from Mumbai. Okay. All right. Prashant, Pune, you think you're ready? Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to have a question for you. So hang in there. Okay. All right. Who else? We get so many people. Deepak, you're ready in Bangalore? Excellent. Absolutely great to hear this. Payal, maybe. Okay, from Thane. Excellent. All right. So, so forget agile transformation. I will tell you why you are not ready for any transformation. And that is as simple as you're not ready for a change. It's just that simple. Okay. And I'll tell you why over the next 40-45 minutes. Okay. So we are at the end of 2021. Have you kept your New Year's resolution for 2021? When was the last time you kept your New Year's resolution? Or do you know anyone who has, say, lost weight or become fit, not by using a fat diet, but by changing their lifestyle? Everyone wants to get fit. Everyone knows that it's the right thing to do, but very few people actually do it, right? And I'm right. So I'm here to make you a little bit more uncomfortable today. I'm going to ask you these questions that are not going to be that comfortable, right? So do I have your permission to do that? I hope so. Right. Over the next 40 minutes, I'll do my best to make sure it is worth your while, and you learn something out of this. But I have one request to make. I request active participation. Transformations require action, and I need your promise to actively participate in our conversation. And what does active participation mean? Turn on your camera if you can. Think about what we discuss in the context of yourself. Make notes. Participate in the conversation via chat. That's the commitment I seek. I hope I have your commitment. Please type in yes if you are committed to being actively involved in in this conversation. Right. Thanks, Payal. Okay, 2005 was the last time. See, there you go. Okay, thanks, Prashant. Priyank, no worries. If you don't have an app option, no issues. Deepak, thank you so much. All right, I'm very happy to see some participation here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are talking about agile transformation, but we are actually going to talk about your personal transformation. Okay, we are going to do some self reflection, and that is why it is going to become a little bit uncomfortable. But at the end of the session, I would like for you to identify at least one action that you will initiate in the next 48 hours. I would like you to see, start taking some small actions towards a change. Sounds good? All right. So, what is a New Year's resolution? It is about change. It is about doing something differently. It is about doing something with an objective to improve something personally. If we are not ready to change our own selves, why do we think we are ready for an agile transformation where presumably we don't have any personal gain? If you are not willing to change for your own selves, right? How much will we push our own people, our teams, and processes at work? The word change itself is uncomfortable. It makes us do things differently than what we are used to, and often makes us think about things that we really would prefer not to think about. The result is we use a helpful euphemism, transformation. People use that word because it sounds more impressive and it has less baggage than change. Shall we do a very simple exercise? Please cross your arms the way you would normally do. Okay? If your left fingers are over your right arm, I don't know if you can see me, but if your left fingers are over your right arm and if your right fingers are below your left arm, flip them. Try to put the left fingers under your right arm and the right fingers above. How is it feeling? Are you a little bit uncomfortable? Such a small change and we are already feeling a little bit uncomfortable, right? If you brush your teeth with your right hand, tomorrow why not try with the left hand? These simple, trivial changes, but they make us a little bit uncomfortable. We are creatures of habits. If something works for us and we are comfortable with it, why change it? We really don't want to make a change. And that is why we are not ready for an agile transformation or any change for that matter. So take a moment to reflect on these last few minutes. Think about your own willingness to try something different, try something new, and stick to it, whether it is personal or professional. Which were the goals that you achieved? Which ones were the ones that you gave up on? Why? Were you willing to stick to a change? Were you comfortable with that change? That is what I would like you to think about while we are having this conversation. Meanwhile, let us look at why we may not be ready for agile transformation itself. Just a reminder of your promise, guys, to be active participants. As we go through some of the reasons of why you may not be ready, think if they relate to you. Think if you can relate to these reasons that I'm about to share with you. Can you find examples from your own personal life that jive with these reasons? Make notes that are for your own personal reference. You may not be able to relate to all the reasons. You may not be able to relate to some of them. You may have some other reasons that we don't discuss today, and that would be okay. Absolutely nothing to worry about that. But think about this conversation going forward in your own context. Otherwise, it will remain a theoretical discussion and nothing will change. Okay? All right. And in no particular order, okay? In no particular order, here are a few reasons of why you may not be ready, not willing to change at all, right? What does that mean? Why do we resist change? We may not be willing to change for many reasons, right? For example, we may think that the change is difficult and we are not willing to put in the effort. If there is not enough motivation to put in the effort for whatever reason, then obviously, you're not going to change. The effort versus reward ratio may not be big enough to create that motivation to change. The effort versus reward ratio, right? So another pushback could be that the change is not our idea. So why bother? Like it or not, sometimes we take that stance. If the transformation idea is from someone who has a history of not seeing projects to completion, if you have history with management who initiate a lot of new things but they never really kind of stick to it, it's one new fad after the other, then you may think, why even bother? So these are some of the reasons why we are just not even willing to try that, and we have reasons to justify why we are not willing to try that, right? Okay. Second reason is we may not have enough skill in the game. What does that mean? We don't relate to the transformation at all. We may not care if the transformation really succeeds. We have nothing to gain or lose if the transformation works or not. Essentially, we can't relate to the transformation in any way. We are indifferent to it. The success or the failure of the transformation doesn't mean anything to us personally. We have no motivation to participate in this case. And if we have no motivation to even participate, we are sure not ready for an agile transformation, right? Number three, we don't know where to start. We are bombarded with agile and scrum messaging from all the sides. And especially this is true if you are in management where people are trying to sell you so many different services around agile and scrum. So let's face it, the agile marketing engine is very strong. You hear from your competitors and peers that they have adopted agile and or scrum and that they are doing great. However, if you were to start with it, where would you start? Right? Anyway, any transformation is not easy, and if you start an agile transformation on a wrong foot, it just makes that much more difficult to successfully complete it, right? So if you take an example, right, of the Scrum Guide itself, by its very definition, the Scrum Guide is incomplete. It talks about what Scrum is about. It talks about the framework. It talks about uh, what the steps, the roles, things like that. But it does not tell you anything about how a team can implement Scrum. That is the hard part. How is the figuring out how to do it is the hard part, and the Scrum Guide basically leaves us to figure it out. That is one reason, right? It's easy to explain that one should work out regularly, right? Nobody will argue with that statement that one should work out regularly. No brainer. It's easy to say what, but which exercise, how often, all of those things, how do you put that in practice? We don't know where to start, and that things like these make agile transformation very, very difficult to take off. So should we start with Scrum? How should we scale? Which scaling framework should we use? Is less better than safe, or Scrum of Scrum, or Scrum at scale, Nexus, what have you? On top of that, you can also have additional practices that you may be interested in, like say Kanban. So there are a lot of things going on, and the complexity is high, and many a times we just don't know where to get started. Okay. Next one is we don't see any value, and this is very, very important reason. A lot of us don't see any reason in for an agile transformation. It's like, yeah, we are doing it because everybody is doing it, right? So and if we don't see any value, we have zero motivation to do anything. We know, right? We talked about our um, New Year's resolutions, that even when we know there's value in doing something, there's a lot of inertia. So talk about the inertia when we don't see any value. And this is maybe kind of related to the prior point that we don't know where to start. And when we don't know where to start, we may not be able to articulate the value of being agile. So in many cases, teams start agile transformation only because the management says so, and that absolutely is not good enough reason to start a transformation. Okay. Number five is we don't have an entrepreneurial mindset. As employees, we are so used to focusing on doing our work, on doing something that we are asked to do, we are told to do, that we don't develop this entrepreneurial mindset. Most of us get very good at making something happen, but but we may not be as good, for example, let's say owning the outcome of decisions, be willing to make mistakes. be comfortable, and learn from our own mistakes. As employees, we become good at solving problems, but that is after someone identifies the problem for us. All in all, we may have become very risk averse over time as employees, and we are not willing to fail. And that is why we do not take up any change, because the moment you talk about a change, there is a possibility that the change may not be good, change may not be successful, and there is no assurance that the change is going to have a positive impact. So these are some of the reasons why you may not be ready for an agile transformation. Let's spend a couple of maybe a minute or so on what this entrepreneurial mindset is. Think about anyone who you think is that you know in your personal network who is an entrepreneur, and think of these points in their context. Are they decisive? Do they make decisions quickly? Do they take responsibilities? do, are they accountable for their own actions? They don't have a choice. They are accountable. Entrepreneurs are accountable for their own actions, right? They are continuously learning. They are continuously improving their skills. They are not afraid of mistakes at all, and they keep on trying new ideas. It's like, one thing after the other. They keep on trying something. They have passion for what they do. They are very patient, but they are also very persistent. And of course, they have goals in mind. They are always focused on something, on some goal. Now the goals can keep on changing, but there always is a goal that an entrepreneur is chasing. They are very good at identifying issues, because that is how they make their money. They identify the issues and they come back with creative solutions. They are always seeking feedback. They are always looking for opportunities. They are comfortable taking risks. They are very motivated, and they have clarity of thoughts and actions. So these are some of the things that separate employees from entrepreneurs. And if we can pick up some of these, it is going to help us become a lot more ready for an agile transformation. Okay. All right. Are you ready to switch gears and talk about how we can be ready for agile transformation? If you are, and if you can turn on the camera, you can, with show of hand, you can say if you're ready, or you can type in chat. And again, think of this conversation in the context of your own experiences and your own mindset. Make this personal, and only then you are going to get something out of this discussion. Okay. So before we do that, let me share a short video with you. Okay. All right, so why did I share this video? Right? I want all of us to become a little bit more comfortable doing something that is uncomfortable, but we know that that is the right thing to do. Right? We may push our teams at the office, we may push our team members to do a lot of different things, but if we are not ready and we don't have the courage to do the right thing, even if it is difficult, we can't expect others to follow. Okay. All right. Let's move on and talk about how we can now prepare ourselves for an agile transformation. Okay. So the first thing, as I've mentioned several times already in the last 20 minutes, is we got to take action. That is the first and the foremost thing about anything, right? Take action. Without taking any action, you can talk all you want about agile transformation, but nothing will change. You want to lose weight, you can talk all you want. You can get all the advice you want from all the experts in the world. But if you don't put it in action, you will not lose weight. Right? So how do you motivate yourself? How do you motivate yourself to take action? Think about that for a second. Again, in your context, how do you motivate yourself to take action? Get into the habit of trying out something new. No matter how small it is, just do it. Just as Nike says, just do it, right? So identify the right motivation, right? Real motivation comes from having a purpose. What do I mean by that? For example, try to identify real reasons why you want to lose weight. Just saying I want to reduce 5 kgs is not going to be enough motivation. Why do you want to lose weight? Lose 5 kgs is the real question. It could be as simple as looking your best for a specific event, visualizing the reaction of your friends and family when they see you 5 kg lighter. That is your reward. And the reward should be big enough to justify your efforts. And only then you will be able to motivate yourself. Only then you will be able to stay very, very motivated when you can visualize and see the results, and that the results outweigh the efforts you are going to put into it. The more the that means to you, the more dedicated effort you are going to put in. Okay. And third, start small but make it personal. Remember, the biggest obstacle, like I said, is action. Imagine running 500 meters versus 1000 meters, or walking 2000 steps a day versus 10,000 steps a day. Do two things. Make it small. In our case, losing weight is personal and nothing to do with agile in that sense, right? And the idea is to make it personal. If it is personal, you will take action on it. If you can get into the habit of taking action, you will be very well on your way for a longer term, more complex transformations. Keep the goal so that it is within a reasonable reach. When you try something new, there is a good possibility that you may not succeed in the first attempt. But so what? Shake it off, try it again. Maybe try something different. Get into this habit of setting and reaching small personal goals. Once you get into that habit, it is easily translatable to agile goals. So this cycle is the key. Identify the right motivation, start small, make it personal, most importantly, take action. And again, keep going through this, make this a habit, make this your second nature, and you will be well on your way for any transformation whatsoever. This is, guys, the crux of my message today. If nothing else, if you take this with you and do something, you will have made my day. Okay, so it's all about feelings, it's all about actions, and then once you see the results, again gets back to the feeling. This cycle continues. Okay, all right. Moving forward, I will share a few of my own experiences, um, just to kind of relate to what I have said so far. In 2000, the 2017 version of the Scrum Guide is all of 17 pages. The new one is even shorter than that. The Scrum Guide, for example, does not talk about why of anything, as we just talked a few minutes back. The 17 pages it covers the Scrum theory, the frame, and the framework. It does not talk about how to switch from waterfall to Scrum, benefits of Scrum, reasons of why Scrum framework works. Nothing like that is described. So to start with, we made it when we started off with our agile transformation, we made it mandatory for everyone to attend at the 2-day Scrum training. All of us, all it got us was a common definition of the language and the terminology. It became very apparent that attending the 2-day Scrum training was just not enough to adopt Scrum. So, in fact, there were more questions than answers at that time. We knew we had to internalize Scrum. And the approach I took, and this was like a personal thing that I took, was to do a few more certifications like PSM2 or PSK, Scale Professional Scrum, etc. Right? And and the thinking was very clear. I knew that I had to do something. I had to really internalize Scrum. I had to get better at it. Only then I am going to be able to help my teams. So these are the small examples, small actions that I took. Okay, but then I realized that I needed a little bit more in-depth experience. That's when I decided to become an active participant in a forum called Serious Scrum. Okay, it is a seriouscrum.com is one of the largest forums run out of Europe, and it's a very interesting place. It gave me the opportunity to interact with so many other Scrum practitioners from around the world. Not only was I able to understand it better, I was able to articulate it better and help out our Scrum team members and Scrum masters. We have over 10 Scrum teams that I actively work with every day. And it helped me put things in the right context, and it helped me a lot. And it also helped a lot of our team members. So today, many of our Scrum Masters are now PSM2 or SPS certified, and our Scrum teams are doing so much more better compared to 2 years back. So the key is, don't wait for someone to tell you what the problem is and how to solve it. You have to do that on your own. That is what Agile is all about. Understand the need to react and then react. Okay. Again, act. More than react, act. You have to do something when you realize there is a change needed or there is something additional required. You have to be motivated enough to do something on your own. Don't wait for anyone to tell you what to do. Okay. Okay. Second example is, see, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this website called meetup.com. It is a great way to build local communities of people who share common interests. I am currently the organizer of two meetups, but when I started it, I wasn't very sure if it would work. It takes a lot of effort and time to organize events like this one. So the investment is significant. I knew there would be enough people who would be interested in Agile and Scrum, and when they would be facing the same problems, same challenges that I was. So I knew that fi- forming this group, organizing it may not be that difficult, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. But my objective was clear: build a community that where people can share their experiences and learn from their experiences. And it could be a great platform for all the Scrum and the Agile practitioners to improve their art, right? So when people learn that they are not alone and that there are others facing the same or similar problems and they have solved those problems, it gives them confidence to work on their own challenges. The first event I hosted had about maybe 20 participants. Right now, uh, across these two groups, now both of these have over 800 members, and that is over 1200 unique members across these two meetups. My goal is, again, like I said, very clear, right? Build a community that acts as a support system, and we can help each other out. Again, the cycle is the same. Identify your motivation, set and meet small goals, and most importantly, take action. Continue to work on it, continue to build on it. And if it doesn't work, try something new. No harm done in trying something. Right? Move on to the third and my last experience that I'm going to share with you. And this is very, very personal. Okay. And it's one of the most important ones. Right? Agile is about doing something in a different way. It challenges our assumptions. We are so used to doing software development in a certain way, and agile challenges all of that and turns it on its head. For you to be ready for an agile transformation, you have to be ready to try something that challenges you at a personal level. So here, this like I said, is a very personal example. About a year or so back, I decided to do something about my fitness. Okay, being holed up at home most of last year had taken its toll. I was motivated by the thought that if I want to enjoy retirement, I must be healthy and fit, no matter what else. If I'm not physically fit, I'm not going to be able to enjoy my golden years. Retirement is long way out, but I must pay attention to my health today. That was my motivation. Want to enjoy retirement? Take action now. So I decided to take it head on and do something different, something that challenged me. Okay, so something that challenged me, something that I was afraid of. So I picked up this activity that I was afraid of, and I was, but I wanted to do it. So I decided to learn how to ride a horse. I was afraid of falling off the horse. These are like 400 kg plus 6 foot tall horses, and it is scary. It is scary, especially when you have a fear of falling down. It is scary. And I had seen my daughter just a few years back almost fall off a horse, and she would have been hurt really bad. And I was afraid of breaking my own bones, being thrown off a horse, being stepped on a horse. This is like a real fear, and it was very uncomfortable in the beginning. And to add to that, if I learn at this age, I was going to have to learn along with kids who were like 6 to 12 year olds. Imagine being in a class with 6 to 12 year olds. Okay, I was most likely older than many of their parents, and but I knew that just like swimming, horse riding is a full body exercise, and it's great for me, and it's great for my knees, it's great for my entire body, it's great for back, and but I decided that, yeah, let me take on this challenge and let me challenge myself and do that. And a year later, I have lost weight, I'm much more fitter, and I've overcome my fear. So it's the same old cycle again. Find the right motivation, set small but personal goals, and take action. So I challenge you all to challenge yourself to take on something that you know is good for you, but it makes you uncomfortable. Okay. So what is my purpose of this talk today? My purpose is very simple. I want to inspire you to take action. I want to inspire you to do something, even if it makes you uncomfortable. But if it is good for you, you should do it. Something that challenges your belief is something you should pick it up. Right? If you want to make my day, if you want to make my day, please connect with me on LinkedIn and tell me what did you decide to challenge yourself with and how did it go. I would love to hear back from you. And I will leave you today with a profound quote. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm going to repeat it again. How you do anything is how you do everything. Think about that for a second. Okay. Being agile means being able to quickly respond to change. And changing your mindset, being open to changing our beliefs, being willing to try something new, be comfortable with experiment, be okay with failure. If you're okay with all of these things, you will be truly ready for a successful agile transformation. Thank you so much, and I'll be very happy to take your questions.
Thank you, Kunal. This was indeed a great session, and we have a couple of questions that had come forward from the participants, and I'll read it out to you one by one. We have first question by Mr. Asi Goyal. He's asking, during your certification, did you get answers to your question why and how?
The answer is yes and no, right? The certifications don't answer your very specific questions, but they help you understand the material in a very different light. Especially when you do more of these, they talk more about how you actually go about doing these agile or Scrum implementations. It talks about situational awareness. It does help, but it is not. It is necessary, but it is not sufficient.
All right, we have another question, Kunal, by Raghupati. He's asking, does that mean doing these certifications can lead by example to be agile? Please correct me if my understanding is wrong. So, do you think is it like sort of synonymous to leading by example?
By doing something, by doing the certification does not make you agile by any means. Okay, but what it signals is your willingness to try something. It signals your willingness to learn. It signals your willingness to make an attempt. That is what is more important than that piece of paper itself.
I think, yeah, that's the most controversial subject. I think certification and learning, because these two are different. And our next question is also around the same lines. Priyanka is asking certification versus learning or education. Uh, it's not the same. Later has the correct intent. So yeah, I mean it's always been debated that are you like educated enough when you do a certification? So what is your thought on it?
Right. So I will be little bit politically incorrect here. Okay. Certification in Agile has become a business. And I'm not saying, and I will never say that I will support that business. Okay. But it does, the effort that you put in to get that certification is more important than that piece of paper. Now, if you didn't have that certification in mind, I doubt anybody would actually go and learn things on their own. The one thing that is helpful there is it helps you with structured learning, and that is kind of a little bit more valuable to me. And that's the reason why we all go to colleges, right? There's a structure, or we go to schools for that matter, right? There's a structure more than anything else. Nobody is really interested in how we did in our 10th or 12th or college or what have you, right? But it helps us learn. It helps us learn how to learn, and all that entire journey is, I think, more important than that certification by itself. Okay?
Yeah, certainly the journey is more important, and maybe how you perceive and how you implement it later. I mean, certification is just maybe the beginning of it. What do you
It
do after that is your journey.
Absolutely,
Certification itself
absolutely. Yeah.
is,
So
so,
I
so
mentioned just one more thing. So I mentioned seriousscrum.com, right? So if you are not familiar with it, I really would suggest and recommend you go to that website, and you will learn a lot more there than you will probably learn in from any certification there. But it is going to be unstructured learning. So there is a huge difference in that sense. So it depends on your, like Nupur, you said, what is your end objective? Do you want to be called a certified Scrum Master and that's why you're doing it? Or are you doing it to learn? Are you doing it for just your own sake and for learning that topic better?
we may have a couple more questions. Let's just try how
Sure.
many we can accommodate. Um,
Sure.
it's another interesting question. When or how do you know that a transformation is failed?
Good question. So the answer for that would be, why are you doing the transformation? What is your objective? Do you know what your objective is? And I'll give you an example. When we started off, I did a one question. I did a very quick survey with our team, and I asked them just this one question: why are we doing this? Why are we adopting Scrum? And at that time, I got a whole bunch of answers from people, but most of them was very surprising. Most of the answers were around people before process, and nobody, and I doubt many of my team members would have ever read the Agile Manifesto, but that's the first one where we put people before everything else. And so your objectives have to be clear. If you know why you're doing it, and then if your objective is not met, then you know that your transformation has not worked. If you're doing the transformation, like I said, because everybody is doing it in the industry, I can bet you it's not going to work, right? Because your objective is not clear.
Yeah, since we are talking about objectives and having a goal to understand whether we are going in a right direction or not, I think the next question is also on the same direction. It talks about uh, do transformation goals change over time, and if so, if we are what is we are attempting if the transformation goal is changing over a period of time.
So again, yeah, the transformation goal, the strategy may change, the goals may change, but the overarching goal will probably remain the same. That you want to be able to respond to change quickly. That most likely will remain the change. How you go about doing it, what is your strategic goal will remain more or less the same. Your tactical goals will keep on changing. How you reach your strategic goal will most likely keep on changing. That will not remain stagnant, and that will be a factor of many things. It will be a factor of the maturity of your team, the product, your industry, your processes. All of these will come in the play as the team becomes more agile.
Right, we have a question. I think certification has become an interesting topic for everybody to ponder upon. We have another question around the same. What should be the goal of a certified trainer or a certificate trainer?
Say that again. The goal of a certified trainer.
Yeah, so it the question says certificate trainer, but I understand. I think it's a certified trainer. What should be the goal of a certified trainer?
See this train at the
No,
train.
Nupur, my question is about the trainer who is executing the certificate. What
Mm-hmm.
should be his goal towards the trainees? That is my question.
All right. So here you have your question.
So I am not a professional trainer. So what I am saying is, it may not be very relevant, but I think there will be two. There are two goals there. One, well, there's primarily one goal, or the objective, especially in the context of Scrum, the goal is most likely to make sure that the participants understand the concepts, understand the material that they will be presented with in the exam, and understand, internalize that. And second is that they successfully complete their certification. I think would be the two goals of the trainer. But like I said, I am not a trainer, so don't take my word for that, please. Yeah.
All right. I have a question for you, Kunal. We are talking
Yes.
about are we ready for the change? We are evaluating all this. Obviously, change comes with some level of uneasiness and brings uncomfort to your life. What is the most
Absolutely.
uncomfortable situation you have faced in your professional life when you had to lead a change and it was kind of uneasy for you? So please share your experience.
Um, okay. So as a Nexus Scrum Master, I work with some 13 teams. And when I took over that role, I had no idea what I was doing. And the advice and the suggestion I can give everyone is, fake it till you make it. Okay. It is very difficult. It was very uncomfortable in the beginning. There were like 50, 60 people on a call, and I had no idea what the expectations were in that sense. But I also knew that others also were not that comfortable, or they didn't know enough about it. and I learned and I put in the effort, and I kind of got, by taking some action, by getting involved in various discussions, I was able to overcome that little bit of fear and that comfortness, and kind of start being more effective as an next Scrum Master. But those initial first few days were very, very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And there's one person asking for the name of website again. Is it scrum.com or something else? Please, just can you uh, just name it again? It would be good. Okay, it's seriousscrum.com.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there are some good comments for your session. I think some people, Raghupati has mentioned he has some important takeaways like challenge yourself, come out of your comfort zone, and Prashant Gilwadi highlighted structured learning and pragmatic response. There's some appreciation of a great session that you have shared with us, Kunal. It was amazing to have you. But before we go, can you please share your three secrets to have a smooth transition or change? As in a person, what are the three things as a person I should be taken care of to go through a smooth transition?
Smooth transition for an agile transformation.
Yes, yes.
So number one, I don't know three, or I'm just gonna go with it. So the number one, like I said, is be very clear in terms of what your objective is. Be very, very clear. Make sure your entire team is aware of why they are doing it. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Second, empower your team. Be willing to let go of a lot of things that you typically do. Let your teams decide. Be willing to see them fail to a large extent. It will happen. There will be people will stumble actually. It will take, and you will feel that you are going backwards. When you start with an agile transformation, things may take longer than what it used to take earlier. So there is going to be a little bit of going backwards before you go forward. Be ready for that. And third, as things move, let the teams become more and more self-organizing and self-managing. And I don't say it just for these words, but I'm actually seeing my teams do things very differently than what they did 2 years back. There was chaos in the beginning, but now the reason I'm able to do two kind of to fill in two roles at my work is primarily because of that. I don't have to take daily tactical actions anymore. Teams decide on their own. And that frees me up to do a lot more other things that I never had time to do in the past. So be willing to look at a lot of things in different ways, and that's all I can say. You know, it's not going to be a smooth ride. It's not going to be it's not a linear graph, but there will be ups and downs, and be ready for that.
True, certainly it's not gonna be smooth always. To be ready uh, for the transition is the most important, I would say. Thank you, Kunal. With that, we have come to the end of this session, and we really enjoyed it. So thanks for your time.